right, now for the top five. Number 5. Oh boy. Goldfinger. I love the top 5 movies. Like, I love all these movies, and it's just so hard. I don't really have any problems with this movie. It's just the ones I liked a little bit more. Nostalgia had, from here on out, nostalgia had a lot to do with it, or just classicness, and it's hard. It's really hard for me. I love Goldfinger because it's basically Sean Connery and James Bond. He's just bullshitting his way through the entire thing. He has no idea what's going on, no clue, and it's basically he's a pair of twos, and he's basically making everybody think he's got a royal flush. He's just bullshitting his way through the entire movie, and it's really awesome to see it play out. I love Goldfinger. I absolutely love it. It pains me to put it here, but it made the top 5, and I can live with that. I'm sorry, don't kill me, please. It's so good. It's so good.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, but I understand where you're coming from. Number 5 for me, Thunderball. I brought Thunderball to number 5, and this was a very, very difficult decision. I brought Thunderball to number 5 simply because of, like Stacey said, the very last scene. It was quite anticlimactic. I mean, you have Bond just jousting with Largo. It was the coolest thing ever, on the high seas, no one else around, driver dead, and then Domino comes up and just it was, it just felt like it was lacking a little bit, and they just jumped ship. And you have no idea.
Because they literally jumped ship.
And you have no idea what happened to the other guy. Remember the guy that helped Domino?
Yep.
You have no idea what happened to him.
He's kind of vanished.
Just gone. Like, did he die? Did he survive? What happened to him? There was a loose end there.
Yep.
But, I mean, you had Fiona Lupe, which, bless my heart,
I still have a crush on you.
Greatest Bond villain of all time. Sexiest Bond villain of all time.
Yeah, sexiest Bond villain of all time.
Sexiest Bond villain. She was perfect in every sense of the word.
I still have a crush on you. If you ever watch this, I'm in love.
Perfect in every sense of the word. I mean, they had 3 girls in there that were drop dead gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Domino, Fiona, and then
Patricia.
They had those 3 girls just drop dead. Like, every single one of them was so good. The Kiss Kiss Bang Bang Club, phenomenal scene. I mean, it was really well done. It was a well done Bond film.
Yep.
Soundtrack by Tom Jones, who broke his voice while he was doing
Passed
out and literally broke. Go ahead and look it up. Broke his vocal cords while singing that last note in Thunderball. Phenomenal. Greatest male voice of Bond.
I agree. And don't forget the dialogue between Bond and Largo.
It's the greatest.
It's so good.
It was the greatest dialogue of hero and villain in any movie.
It's really good.
Like, it was just back and forth. Oh, you wish to put the evil eye on me. We have where to deal with that, where I come from. Well, you might hex me, but let's see where the cards go. And it was just, oh, it's your specter versus mine. It was just like, oh, fuck you. And it was so back and forth. Just, oh no, I don't know a lot about guns. I know a lot about women though. And it was just like the greatest little banter back and forth that you don't see in any film anymore. And it was just so cleverly done where, they knew right from the start.
They knew who the other person was.
They knew who the other person was, but they were just like,
pretending. They were nice.
They were like, all right, there's people around us. Let's make this a show.
We'll play nice.
And it was phenomenal. Sadly, it only ranked number 5 on my list. And, I mean, I wish I could bump it up more, but based on the other films, that's where I put it.
All right. Number 4, From Russia with Love. This movie is like perfection. I love everything about it. All the action is just so subtle and well done. This is a spy movie more than any other one. I think this fully captures the espionage-ness of James Bond. Karen Bay, Pedro Armendariz, is phenomenal. I think probably Bond's best buddy, best accomplice.
Best accomplice.
Yeah, I think he nailed it. I think the action is just great. The story, the tension just ramps up. The fight scene on the Orient Express, you know, the villains are great here. Robert Shaw is phenomenal. Just, I can't give From Russia with Love enough praise. I forgot how much I love this movie, and rewatching it, booyah. Just a wonderful, wonderful movie.
I would agree. Number 4 for me, From Russia with Love.
Nice.
I put From Russia with Love at number 4, based on all the other ones that I've had so far, just because of the fact that Stacey was talking about. It was a true spy movie. It wasn't, a detective, follow the clues, here's where the breadcrumbs lead, but it was just figuring out what was going on. And I felt like, the train scene, the best train fight scene in the Bond canon.
Agreed.
I mean, the action, not very, visually appealing.
Not flashy.
But not flashy at all. Well, besides the flashbang.
Nah.
But it was so cleverly done and so just gritty and just serious. And Bond, I mean, let's take a moment to figure out just how beautiful the Bond girl was.
Tatiana Romanova.
The most beautiful Bond girl that I had ever seen. Like, out of all the Bond girls, the
Lovely.
most beautiful. And, Domino is second in that list, and Honey Rider is third. But she is the essence of a very, very cute Bond girl. And that's something not to shy away from in figuring out which Bond film goes where, because everything plays a factor, and I just thought she was just over the top. I thought she was over the top. I thought she was phenomenal. She was one of the most received Bond girls.
Number 3. Spy Love Me. Jaws. Jaws is awesome. Jaws is so cool. This movie's just great. The action is great. The chemistry between Roger Moore and I don't remember who plays Barbara Bach or something. I think that's her name. Triple X. It's just like the dynamic between those two is just really interesting to watch.
Like with the cigarette, with that that she drugs him with. That's phenomenal.
And the two of them dealing with each other, even though he killed her boyfriend and she likes him, blah blah blah. It was interesting. The dynamic between Bond and the girl isn't always interesting, but this is probably one of the best interactions they've had.
Easily.
Really interesting, and the action, the final shootout on the ship, the Lippers, is really some of the best large scale action they've ever done.
And to be fair, those 3 submarines were full scale submarines.
This was a serious
full scale
deal.
Submarines. The entire set was as big as it could possibly get. It was a cinematic monument.
The production design of this movie cannot be
phenomenal.
understated.
Like I haven't even gone to school for this type of stuff, and I know the type of mass effort that is involved in this. I mean, 3 submarines.
It's crazy.
I haven't even seen a submarine, but I kind of realize how big they are.
Not to mention Atlantis looks great.
Oh.
Just Jaws is phenomenal. The action is phenomenal. The car chase is one of the best they've ever had. What's wrong with this movie? Because I can't find anything. It's really it's a great, great, great movie.
Exactly. Number 3 for me, Skyfall. I bring Skyfall to number 3, and I know what you're saying. Don't hate me because this is a brand new Bond film, second from the newest. But I felt like this movie brought back the roots. I felt that Casino Royale did a good job at it, could have done better. Quantum of Solace, it washed the slate clean. And I feel like Skyfall, it really reinvented Bond. The whole time from Casino Royale and so forth had been, just leading up to certain things, but Skyfall reinvented Q, it reinvented M, it reinvented Moneypenny, and it brought back classic elements. It brought back the last full scene since Die Another Day of M's office. And it was just so Bond. And Daniel Craig, while looking old, I mean, gadgets, very slim.
Yep.
Radio and a gun that matched his palm print. Beautiful.
Simple.
Beautiful. It was simple. It was so simple compared to all of, the little computers that Quantum of Solace had. It was just too much. It was stupid because none of it applied to Bond.
Right.
And I just felt like it was so Bond. I mean, they brought back classic elements. They brought back Bond's childhood, which had never been done before.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, they brought back the Aston Martin DB5, which thank God they never actually blew up because that would have been a travesty on human Earth.
Yeah.
But I just felt like everything was there. It was beautiful. They really brought back the roots of Bond to where it needed to be to excel it forward, which unfortunately they didn't do. And I mean, if you've watched so far, you've realized why I've put Spectre so far down on my list.
Yep. Okay. Number 2, Skyfall. A lot of the reasons Jake said for Skyfall is the reason why I put it where it is. Brought back to its roots, but the action was phenomenal. The cinematography, I think, is the best the series has ever had. The shots and the fight up in the skyscraper with all the lights is just absolutely gorgeous. Just all the shots are just beautiful and stunning. And I think Silva is probably the best Bond villain ever. I think he's might be my favorite.
It's got such a Joker element of his, his whole taking out his teeth, seeing his deformed face. It just was so like Batman Joker-esque, where it was just like a deformed thing.
Beautiful. In a terrible way. And some people don't like the ending of Skyfall. I think that's one of my favorite endings. A little bit Home Alone, whatever. I loved it. It's a little bit different. Yeah. But it really simplified what was a little bit too complex maybe, and I really enjoyed that. So Skyfall is number 2.
Number 2 for me, Goldfinger. I put Goldfinger at number 2 because it was so Bond. Literally, from start to finish, it was Bond. There's no other words to describe it. You had the DB5, you had the oil slick, you had so many elements of Bond that were so just simplistic in the gadgets, but yet made sense in the story and were very, very relevant. I mean, you had Bond making a prostitute joke about taking his little homing device and putting it in some hooker's house and saying, I might have to stop on a quick one on the way home. Like, that's fucking terrific. That's hilarious. And, Q's just, that playful banter between Q and Bond is just finally starting to develop. And it's beautiful. I mean, you had Goldfinger, you had Oddjob, just like how Stacy was talking about. You had Bond bluffing his whole way through the entire movie with a Jack and a 2, when Goldfinger had, royal flush, and yet Bond won. I mean, you had Goldfinger, you had Oddjob. Oddjob, probably the coolest, most silent Bond villain to date. I mean, I would place him above Jaws just because of his sheer, you're gonna hit me with a brick of
and he just
gold.
keeps smiling. He's
Whatever.
smiling the whole time.
Whatever. And then you pick him up, and he picks you up, and he throws you.
He gives no fucks.
It's beautiful. And it was so beautiful because it was like, yeah, let's try to take out Fort Knox, the place that's just, you cannot even take out. Like, it was so far off in the time that it made sense. And, I mean, Pussy Galore. Pussy Galore.
It's the name of a character.
Pussy Galore is the name of a Bond girl. How beautiful is that? Pussy Galore. And Bond says, I must be dreaming when he hears that name. What ridiculousness is that? I love that. I find that to be so playful.
And she's a really good character, too.
I mean, she's beautiful. She's a beautiful actress, and she plays it very well.
One of only 3 Bond girls to be older than Bond.
Yep. Oh, but yeah. I thought overall, this And the music, Shirley Bassey singing the main song, and just Tom Jones playing the entire score. I felt like this truly captured every essence of Bond. Gadget-wise, villain-wise, hero-wise, music-wise, like cinematography-wise, everything was just on point.
It is the quintessential Bond film.
It really is. Like, if this is the film that you want to show someone to get hooked on Bond,
this is the one to do it.
This is the one. Now, this is not my number one, because the number one I will go in later.
Yep.
This is my number two. It's most people's number ones.
The thing I love most about the James Bond series is, you know, people can rank them in really any order they want. I mean, yeah, there are some that are generally towards the top, generally towards the bottom, but a lot of it has to do with what era you grew up with, whether it be the Moore or the Connery or the Brosnan, what one you saw first. You know, nostalgia plays a big part in this series. And that's why I love it so much, is you can really have it in any order you want, and I can totally understand why for the most part. It's really a beautiful thing. You know, it brings...
Unless you have On Her Majesty's Secret Service at your number one.
Some people do. If you have A View to a Kill at your number one, like, I'm going to question you a little bit. But
I'll question your sanity very hard.
I will. Maybe you're Christopher.
But if you have enough valid reasons, I'll respect
If you can justify it, absolutely, why not? And even if it is just pure nostalgia, that can be enough. You know, feelings...
I understand that completely.
Feelings often, you know, play more of, like, what you like in a movie than your thoughts do.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like an escapist kind of in a way.
Exactly.
So that's what I like about the Bond movie so much, and I think it's the series that accompanies this the most, because it brings in so many years of film lovers,
51,
you know, and so many different types of people together, and I think that's why I like the series so much. And I'm definitely not just doing this to justify my number one. I'm definitely not. Well, because my number one, don't kill me and don't just like discredit everything I've said, but my number one is Octopussy. I know, it doesn't make any sense. Bond wears a clown outfit, Bond dresses up as a gorilla, Bond is a Tarzan, thing. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
That was my number 13.
Octopussy is my number one. It's what I think it is the first Bond movie I saw, and I just love it. I love the action. I like Vijay Amritraj because we share a birthday. I like the whole like little taxi chase. I love the whole train sequence. I think is one of my favorite sequences. It probably is my favorite sequence in the entire Bond series. All the train stuff trying to defuse this bomb. It's a little tonally weird, but I like it for it because it's really goofy, and then it gets really dark. There's a bomb about to go off, and that could kill a lot of people. I like Louis Jordan as Kamal Khan. I like Govinda. I love all the fight scenes. Octopussy is probably my favorite Bond girl, or definitely one of them. Yes, a lot of nostalgia, but Octopussy is my number one Bond movie, and because it is Bond for me. It is what I started with. It's what got me into the rest of the series.
Makes sense.
And it means a lot to me. So, for nostalgic reasons, pretty much purely, Octopussy is my number one.
Fair enough. I respect your decision. It's a great movie, great opener. You know, you had Roger Moore's counterpart and his stunt double in the movie.
Yeah, very cool.
It was very. I mean, not many movies do that.
Nope.
And they give respect to their actors like that. My number one, and I know for a fact, after seeing many people rank the Bond films and seeing many professional sites like IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes rank the Bond films, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, especially since I've just heard his list. But my favorite all-time Bond film is The Man with the Golden Gun.
I had that ranked at number 23.
Yeah. So, for the same reason that Ryan Stacy had talked about, you realize I'm being this serious because I'm calling him by Ryan Stacy instead of just Stacy, which I've never done. Man with the Golden Gun to me is the I Ching. To me, it's Bond. To me, that's the first Bond movie I had ever seen. Pure nostalgia. I mean, and I know that it's not probably the most gifted Bond film of all time. I know that it's got flaws. You know, it's a beaten glove in baseball. But isn't that exactly what you want to have when you play a game. You want to have a glove that is so oiled up that you are so reliable on it. I mean, sure, you had the scene where, you know, the little stupid loop-de-loop with Evel Knievel and whatever it's actually called, like the proper term
Corkscrew?
of it. Corkscrew noise. When he's going, woo, woo. You know, it's whatever. But they brought back J.W. Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had so many classic characters. Now they had Maude Adams. I mean, they had Francisco Scaramanga, which, to be fair, they did botch a little bit. But at the same time, it was so mysterious that, you know, this man gets paid $1 million each kill he makes. And it's like, just with one shot. You know, it's not bloody, it's not gruesome. You know, that's his calling card, is a golden bullet. And it was the coolest thing at the time. And I felt like this was a movie that really captivated Bond's cockiness of, you know, oh, he's trying to come at me, well, I'm just gonna go to him and, you know, fuck him. And I feel like this movie really pandered to the most significant crisis that we've ever really had as a society, which is the energy crisis. I mean, this masked, Man with the Golden Gun, Francisco Scaramanga, it really masked the whole essence of there's an energy crisis and we're trying to fix that. And I feel like, you know, 1970s, that's exactly what they should be talking about, because that's what was going on at that time. And there was nothing more scary than losing energy and feeling like everything's going to shit. And I feel like it was a great thing that they did in that movie. I mean, cinematography, Knick-Knack was hilarious. I loved every minute of it. I mean, through 16 champagne bottles, and I only know that because of hours and hours of James Bond seeing it. Thank you.
Yep.
But it was just, that's actually a question. How many champagne bottles did he throw? But I felt overall this was a Bond film that the soundtrack was so different. It was so oriental. And it was so just slightly different than any Bond film that had come before it. I mean, you can make that argument for everything. I mean, From Russia with Love, definitely different with the huge orchestra and the huge deep bass. But this was just so, like, the moment you hear the harp, when we hear the harp with the slight violins, it was just boom. You knew exactly what you were listening to. And I feel like it was really cool. They had a lot of significant elements, and plus, Man with the Golden Gun. You have cufflinks, you have a lighter, you have a cigarette case, all those things combined, and just, you make a gun out of it and a pen. How cool is that? It's dope. It's the coolest thing ever. I've always wanted to own one.
Yeah.
And I've never owned one. And I just,
See, I think what it is with this number one, it's not necessarily the best Bond movie of all time.
Oh,
no.
By now. I mean, Man with the Golden Gun, a lot of flaws. J.W. Pepper, I love you, but you suck. Yeah. You're terrible. You're the worst. You have the biggest dip in that everybody can see.
Bond wearing a clown suit, Bond wearing a gorilla mask, Bond doing the ooh. It's not about the best.
That wasn't even Bond.
Not about the best movie of all time. But it's
nostalgia.
Our favorite. It's my favorite, it's his favorite.
And that's why Bond is so special to us, because it holds a place in our heart that many things don't.
Yep. So, that was our Rankdown.
That was our Rankdown.
That was a marathon.
It really was.
It really was.
It really was.
Well, if you liked our video, comment, subscribe, tell us how wrong we are. I'm sure we'll love to hear it. In the meantime, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Jake.
And this was the Fargo Nuts. Thank you very much.
Thank you.